Hi, I'm Rob Pelc, founder and CEO of AdvantageLumber.com. Today we're going to show you how to install one of our deck tile applications over a standard concrete patio. The deck tiles we're going to be putting down today that we make at AdvantageLumber.com, this one happens to be a teak, but we also make it in other woods like ipe, kumuru, masaranduba, grappa, a bunch of different colors for your color palette. Okay, so what we have down here is our first starter row of the deck tiles. And to start it against the wall, there's scoring marks on the back side of the deck tile connector where you can razor knife, and then you bend them back and forth a couple times and you end up with half a connector. And we use the half a connector when you're up against the wall for your starter row just to space the deck tile up off the concrete in the back. And we use a full connector out to the front of that. And then we can cut this again to get a quarter piece of this just to put in the back corner. We want to coat the end grain with this Deckwise Ipe seal. We're just going to slop, this will dry clear, but we don't want to get it too much on the surface there. We're not worried about this edge board, that's the edge grain. We're worried about the end grain. Okay, so we got one row of the teak deck tiles against the house, and we got one row coming out away from the house. So we did it this way because we want to make sure that we start with one full row against the house, just aesthetically will look better. And then we want to make sure when we lay these out along the, going away from the house, that we don't end up with a little sliver. Okay, so we have most of the 24 by 24 inch tiles down. We're gonna start cutting the tiles around the perimeter. And what I like to do when we cut those outside perimeter ones, on the back hole, we're gonna cut away the holes. And some of those holes may get relocated. So if we pull one of the pins out of the deck tile connector, that's the pin that goes up into that hole is no longer there. Say we cut this tile right here, we can then just use this as a drilling guide, slide that down onto the tile and drill our new hole. Now, if I'm gonna cut this tile here, say this is to the outside perimeter right here, what I'm gonna do before I cut this tile, I'm gonna unscrew this board and I'm gonna move it down to my cut line. Okay, a question we get a lot of times from customers is, how do I cut a deck tile? You'll see when you get to the outside perimeter against the wall, we have to cut all the tiles on the perimeter there. So we've already cut this tile to fit in here. And if you flip these around to the back, this is a hole tile here, and this is our cut tile here. So we simply took the screws out of this one backing board, moved it down, ran it through the table saw and cut this. Now, if you don't have a table saw, no problem. You could cut this with a jigsaw, you could cut this with a circular saw. Teak is nice and easy to work with. It's a lightweight wood. So this cuts really nice with simple carbide blades. It is a good idea when you start the project, start it with a new blade. It will give you less splinters on the surface along the cut edge. One alternative to cutting these around the edge, fitting them around each post, is to use colored rock, and to do an accent feature here, you can just end on a full tile and then have a field of stones there. It looks real nice and decorative. The water drains through them just like it does the tiles, and it saves you a lot of work from having to go all the way around cutting each piece. So we do have this one notch to go around the pillar here, and it's going to snap in, and we're going to keep going like that. Okay, so we laid this down in record time, like 2 hours tops. We got everything cut. We just got some spots, little scuffs and stuff from handling, and oil off the guy's hands, and pencil marks, that kind of thing. So we're gonna take one of these round 5-inch orbital, and we're gonna put some 80 in, for most of it 120 grit sandpaper on there. Just quickly gonna buzz over those spots on the deck. And then afterwards, we're gonna mop on some of this Wise Coat water-based finish. This is a deck finish, and it's water-based, so it doesn't smell like the oil-based. You don't got to worry about the rags being flammable like the oil-based. We're going to put that on with a mop applicator.